If I had to start investing completely from scratch in 2026, with no portfolio, no experience, and no shortcuts, this is exactly how I would do it. Step by step. No hype. No gambling. No chasing trends. Just a clear, intentional system built for long-term wealth. After more than 2 decades of studying money, watching markets rise and fall, making mistakes, learning hard lessons, and slowly building real wealth, I've learned one truth that changes everything. Wealth is not accidental. People don't randomly stumble into financial freedom. They don't wake up one day and suddenly have a strong portfolio, paid off debt, and financial peace. Wealth is built deliberately, patiently, and strategically. And that's exactly what this guide is about. This is not just for beginners who have never invested $1 before. This is also for people who have already started investing, but feel unsure, inconsistent, or overwhelmed. If you've ever wondered whether you're doing the right thing, whether you started too late, or whether investing is even worth it anymore, this is for you. Before we talk about stocks, ETFs, accounts, or strategies, we need to answer the most important question of all. Why should you invest at all? Because if you don't understand your why, you will quit the moment things get uncomfortable. Investing is not exciting all the time. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes the market drops and nothing makes sense. Your why is what keeps you consistent when emotions try to pull you off course. At its core, investing is about one simple idea: getting your money to work harder than you do. Right now, if your money is sitting still, it is losing value. Inflation slowly eats away at your purchasing power every single year. That means the same amount of money buys you less in the future than it does today. Investing is how you fight back. It's how you turn depreciating currency into appreciating assets. It's how you stack money on top of money, year after year, through the power of compound growth. Compound growth is not flashy, but it is powerful. It's the reason ordinary people quietly become wealthy over time. Not by luck, not by timing the market, but by staying invested long enough for compounding to do its job. When you invest, you're not just trying to make money. You're buying time, options, and freedom. Freedom to choose where you work. Freedom to walk away from toxic jobs. Freedom to handle emergencies without panic. Freedom to help your family. Freedom to build something that outlives you. That's the real purpose of investing. And here's something most people don't want to hear, but need to. If your money is not growing, it is shrinking. Money is like a river. It must move. If it doesn't, it stagnates. Holding cash without a plan is not safety. Over long periods of time, it's guaranteed loss. That's why, in 2026 and beyond, the people who invest intentionally will quietly pull ahead, while everyone else wonders why life keeps getting more expensive. But before you invest a single dollar, we need to talk about something that almost nobody on social media talks about: your foundation. Most people want to skip this part. They want the stock picks. They want the shortcuts. They want someone to tell them exactly what to buy. That's how people lose money. Investing without a solid financial foundation is like building a skyscraper on sand. It might look impressive at first, but the first storm will knock it down. So before investing, you need order, not perfection, order. The first piece of that order is a monthly budget, a real one, not something you think about in your head, not something you promise yourself you'll watch more closely. A written budget. It can be on paper, a spreadsheet, an app. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you know exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out. Your budget is not a restriction. It's a tool. It tells your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. It creates awareness. And awareness is what allows you to invest with confidence instead of fear. When you know your numbers, investing stops feeling risky and starts feeling intentional. The second foundational habit is tracking your net worth. Your net worth is simply what you own minus what you owe. Assets on one side, liabilities on the other. You don't need fancy software. You don't need perfect numbers. You just need honesty. Tracking your net worth turns your financial life into a scoreboard. It shows progress over time. It shows whether your decisions are actually working. Wealthy people track what matters. People who struggle financially avoid looking. The third foundation is an emergency fund. Investing without an emergency fund is a recipe for panic. If something unexpected happens and all your money is invested, you will be forced to sell at the worst possible time. An emergency fund is not an investment. It's insurance. At minimum, aim for 3 months of essential expenses set aside in cash. This gives you breathing room. It gives you confidence. It allows you to invest without fear of short-term emergencies. The fourth foundation is organization. This sounds boring, but it's powerful. People who build wealth are organized. Not necessarily brilliant, not lucky, organized. They know where their accounts are. They know their balances. They know their obligations. You cannot build wealth from chaos. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence leads to action. Once your foundation is solid, we need to talk about something that silently destroys investing progress: bad debt. Bad debt is debt on things that do not increase in value. Credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later plans, high-interest car loans. Bad debt steals your future cash flow. It makes investing harder. It adds stress. And it increases risk. The faster you eliminate bad debt, the faster you free up money to invest. This is not about shame. It's about strategy. Getting out of bad debt is one of the highest return financial moves you can make. Now, once your foundation is set and your debt is under control, we can finally talk about investing itself. And before choosing investments, you must understand risk. Risk is unavoidable. There is no such thing as a risk-free investment. Even holding cash has risk. The goal is not to avoid risk. The goal is to understand it, manage it, and choose the level of risk that fits your life. Your risk tolerance depends on many things: your age, your income stability, your family responsibilities, your timeline. Your emotional reaction to market drops. Some people can handle a 30% market decline without losing sleep. Others panic at 5%. Neither is wrong. What's wrong is choosing investments that don't match your ability to stay calm. Most people don't fail at investing because of bad math. They fail because of emotions. Understanding your personal risk tolerance protects you from yourself. Once you understand risk, the next decision is choosing the right investment accounts. There are several main types. Employer-sponsored accounts like 401ks or 403bs. Individual retirement accounts like Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs. Personal brokerage accounts. Each has advantages. Each has trade-offs. If your employer offers a match, take it. That's free money. Beyond that, personal brokerage accounts give you control and flexibility. They allow you to build a strategy tailored to your goals instead of someone else's default settings. The account itself does not make you wealthy. Your behavior does. Consistency beats brilliance. This brings us to one of the most important concepts in investing. You must have a personal investing strategy. Not someone else's strategy. Yours. Without a strategy, you react emotionally. With a strategy, you act intentionally. Your strategy answers questions like, what is my goal? How long am I investing for? How much risk can I handle? How involved do I want to be? What do I actually understand? Most beginners should start with diversified investments like broad index funds or ETFs. They are simple. They are diversified. They are built for long-term growth. Stock picking can come later. Learning first protects your capital. Investing is not about being right quickly. It's about being consistent for decades. And that's where most people get it wrong. They want excitement. Investing rewards patience. Content 2-part T2. How to invest in 2026 for beginners. Strategy, accounts, asset choices, and how smart investors think. Now that you understand why investing matters and why your foundation is critical, we move into the phase where most people finally feel like real investors. This is where clarity replaces confusion. This is where investing stops feeling like gambling and starts feeling like a system. The next step is choosing where your investments actually live. This matters more than most beginners realize. An investment account is not an investment itself. It is simply a container. Think of it like a warehouse that holds your money while it works. Different containers have different rules, benefits, and tax treatment. In 2026, most beginners will interact with three primary types of accounts: employer-sponsored retirement accounts, individual retirement accounts, personal brokerage accounts. Let's start with employer-sponsored accounts. If your employer offers a 401k, 403b, or similar plan and they match contributions, this is one of the easiest financial wins available. An employer match is instant return on investment. If your employer matches 3% and you contribute 3%, you just doubled your money before it even enters the market. That is powerful. This does not mean you should blindly pour all your money into your employer plan. It means you should at least contribute enough to get the full match if one exists. Beyond the match, you must evaluate whether you like the investment options offered. Some employer plans are excellent. Others are limited and expensive. If the options are good, increasing contributions makes sense. If the options are poor, you can redirect additional investing to accounts you control. That brings us to individual retirement accounts. The Roth IRA is one of the most powerful tools for long-term investors. You invest money that has already been taxed. Your investments grow. When you withdraw the money later in life, it is tax-free. Tax-free growth is incredibly valuable. For beginners, Roth IRAs offer simplicity, flexibility, and long-term efficiency. Traditional IRAs work differently. You invest pre-tax dollars, reduce your taxable income today, and pay taxes when you withdraw later. Which one is better depends on your income, tax bracket, and long-term expectations. The key is this: understand the rules of the account before you invest. Now let's talk about personal brokerage accounts. This is where many serious investors build the majority of their long-term wealth. A brokerage account is simply an investment bank. It holds your stocks, ETFs, index funds, and other assets. What matters most when choosing a brokerage is not perfection. It is comfort and reliability. You want a platform you understand, a platform you trust, a platform with reasonable fees and solid customer support. Your wealth will not be determined by which brokerage you choose. Your wealth will be determined by what you do consistently inside that brokerage. Once your account structure is clear, you face the most important question in investing. What am I actually going to invest in? This is where many beginners freeze. The choices feel endless. Stocks, ETFs, index funds, bonds, sectors, growth, value, domestic, international. This is why strategy matters. Without a strategy, choice becomes overwhelming. With a strategy, choices narrow themselves. Let's simplify. There are four main investment lanes most beginners will encounter: individual stocks, mutual funds, index funds, exchange-traded funds. Individual stocks are ownership in a single company. When you buy a stock, you are buying a piece of a business. You are betting that business will grow, generate profits, and increase in value over time. Stock picking can be rewarding, but it requires research, discipline, and emotional control. Mutual funds are baskets of stocks managed by professionals. They offer diversification but often come with higher fees. Index funds are a specific type of mutual fund designed to track a market index rather than outperform it. They are passive, low cost, and highly effective for long-term investors. ETFs are similar to index funds but trade throughout the day like stocks. For beginners, index funds and ETFs offer the best balance of simplicity, diversification, and long-term success. They reduce risk. They reduce decision fatigue. They allow you to participate in the growth of the entire market instead of betting on individual winners. This is why many experienced investors recommend starting here. Now let's talk about asset allocation. Asset allocation is how you divide your portfolio among different types of investments: stocks, bonds, cash equivalents, alternative assets, Allocation determines risk more than any single investment choice. A portfolio with 100% stocks will be more volatile than a portfolio that includes bonds and cash. A younger investor with a long timeline may choose higher stock exposure. An investor closer to retirement may prioritize stability. There is no perfect allocation. There is only the allocation you can stick with during bad times. That is the most important rule. The best portfolio is the one you do not abandon during market downturns. This brings us to one of the most misunderstood concepts in investing: volatility. Volatility is not risk. Volatility is movement. Markets go up and down. That is normal. Risk is the permanent loss of capital. When beginners panic during market dips, they turn volatility into real loss. Smart investors expect downturns. They prepare for them emotionally and financially. This is why automation is so powerful. When you automate your investing, you remove emotion from the process. Money flows into your investments, whether the market is up or down. This creates discipline without effort. Some of the wealthiest investors in the world are not the smartest. They are simply the most consistent. Now we need to address a critical mistake beginners make: chasing hype, hot stocks, trending sectors, viral ideas. Hype feels exciting. It feels urgent. It feels like opportunity. Most of the time, hype arrives late. By the time something is popular, much of the upside has already occurred. Smart investors do not chase excitement. They chase value, quality, and durability. Another mistake is ignoring fees. Fees compound just like returns. A small difference in expense ratios can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades. Always know what you are paying. Now, let's talk about something that separates serious investors from casual ones: a written investing checklist. A checklist removes emotion. It forces you to evaluate investments based on logic instead of impulse. Your checklist might include questions like: do I understand this business? Does this investment fit my strategy? Is the valuation reasonable? Does this align with my risk tolerance? What would make me sell? Checklists protect you from yourself. They slow you down at exactly the right moment. Learning is another non-negotiable element. You cannot outsource understanding. You can listen to podcasts, watch videos, read articles, but you must think for yourself. The goal is not to copy other investors. The goal is to build your own judgment. Confidence in investing comes from understanding, not prediction. Now, let's talk about dividends. Dividends are payments companies make to shareholders. When reinvested, dividends significantly increase long-term returns. Reinvestment accelerates compounding. This is why many long-term investors prioritize dividend reinvestment. Now we reach a critical mindset shift. Luck is not skill. In strong markets, many people look like geniuses. True skill reveals itself over decades, not months. Stay humble. Stay disciplined. Finally, let's introduce the principles that guide intelligent investing. Invest with a written plan. Stay consistent for decades. Never invest in what you do not understand. Always consider risk. Diversify intelligently. Focus on competitive advantages. Reinvest dividends. Master your emotions. These principles protect you from the most common and costly mistakes. They are simple, but they are not easy. And that is why they work. Before you go, let me leave you with this. The best person who will ever take care of the future version of you is the version of you watching this video right now. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. You do not need to be perfect to start investing. You just need to be consistent. Small steps taken over a long period of time will always outperform big moves driven by emotion. Make a plan. Stick to it. Keep learning. Stay patient. Let time and compound growth do the heavy lifting. If this video helped you understand investing better, even just a little, do me a favor and hit the like button. It tells the algorithm that this content is worth sharing and helps more people learn how money really works. If you want more videos like this that break down investing, money, and wealth building in a clear and practical way, make sure you subscribe to the channel. New videos are coming that will help you build confidence, avoid costly mistakes, and think long-term with your money. Drop a comment below and let me know where you are on your investing journey. Are you just getting started? Or have you already begun investing? Thanks for watching. I appreciate you more than you know. Until the next video.